Greeting, family. Greeting from the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. This is the art of rising. Flow state conversations. After a little bit of technical difficulties, we're here and we are on the podcast. The Omziel Healing Sanctuary is located in North Bergen, New Jersey. It's a private practice that I run with my wife. She's the other half of what we do here. One of our staples is the breath work, where we oxygenize the cells in our bodies and then we submerge ourselves into a big tub with a lot of water and a lot of ice. There are huge benefits in this area. The internet is chock full of it. So we are having an ice plunge very soon. And in fact, if you stay to the end of the recording here, we do have some announcements about that you will benefit from. How about that? So I have a great brother here and friend as well, Matthew Agudelo, and he's come to tell us a little bit about his life. I find very fascinating some of the struggles that he's gone through and his background, his upbringing and things like that. So yeah, let's just bring him on and see what he's got to say.
How's it going, brother? How are you?
Greetings, brother. Greetings. All right. Here we are. Thank you so much, first of all, for being on the show.
Of
I
course,
appreciate
brother.
you and your time. Thank you.
No, of course. I appreciate you having me on, man. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you came from, your upbringing, where you're living now, and what is it that you're doing with your life?
All right. So I'm Matt Agudelo. I'm a founder of L.I.G, Physical Therapy and Wellness, located in North Brunswick, New Jersey. Um, I got into physical therapy my senior year of high school. At the time, I had already decided I was going to Rutgers and was going to do business because, sometimes when we're young, we just get told that we're going to go and pursue certain things and don't know any better, right? And we just follow down a path that sometimes we not fully be on board with, but we just don't know any better, all right? Um, and thankfully for me, while I had already decided I was going to Rutgers, I was just looking for a job and needed some money, and I ended up getting a job at a physical therapy office, and it fell in love with what it was that they did. Right, I fell in love with watching people heal and get better and start to work towards some goals. Um, I told myself I would give it a year, and as long as it still resonated with me, I'd make the switch. And thankfully, it did. Right, thankfully, my life path kind of took me down that road, and I was able to find something that I fell in love with. I ended
Mm-hmm.
up going to Rutgers for physical therapy school. I graduated in May of 2020 and have been working in the field since. I've been grateful enough to work with a variety of settings. I started working off in a developmental center in South Jersey. So I worked with adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, right? And, when you think of physical therapy, right, you think about the athletes or the ACL tears, and but there's a whole gamut of people that their function is entirely different, and they still have goals they need to reach. They still have needs that need to be met. So I got a chance to work with people that their goals were just different, right? My job at that point might have been adapting the way they're sleeping or their positioning in bed, right, to help prevent contractures or just bed wounds, right? I worked a lot with the wheelchair adaptations to make sure that these devices that a lot of these patients were sitting in all day were comfortable and met what the needs that they had. Um, and then eventually, I transitioned into a more traditional route of PT, which is the outpatient setting, working with people that have those rotator cuff surgeries, ACL surgeries, um, and working with high school athletes, higher level athletes as well. So I've gotten a chance to be very blessed to kind of work with a full spectrum of patients, and I think the big takeaway from that is, no matter what you're at physically, right? Everyone has different goals, everyone has different needs, and we got to work to. My job is to kind of help them get there. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I've been very blessed with where I've been so far.
Right. And I know that you were able to obtain a degree also in this field, correct?
Yeah, so physical therapy is a doctorate. It's traditionally 4 years of undergrad and then 3 years of physical therapy school.
Mm.
So I did that. I graduated from Rutgers for undergrad in 2017, and then finished my doctorate in May of 2020.
Mm. That sounds like a lot of work, if you ask me, bro.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely was. It flew by though, and
Mm. Mm.
you know, again, it was one of those things where when I kind of that path was presented to me, I
Mm.
didn't really think too much about the time commitment from a long term aspect, right? I just thought about like what the outcome was going to be, and I'm grateful for where I ended up, and I'm grateful that I've had the experiences clinically to get a chance to get a wide variety of things because I think a lot of people talk about trying to find a niche and wanting to like find one specific setting or one thing that they're good at, and I think what differentiates me is that I've seen such a wide variety of things that I feel comfortable treating mainly anything, right? Like
Right.
I,
Right.
right,
Mm-hmm.
because I understand that, you know, uh, an adult that might have cerebral palsy and wants to walk around, but is having balance issues, right? That's their goal. They want to be able to go out to eat and walk around the community. So my function is to get them there, right? But then I've also been lucky enough to work with people that, powerlift or strongman competitively, right? And I have to get
Mm-hmm.
them prepared for their competitions. So, you
Right.
know,
The first part is like quite a deep sense of compassion for people. Like
mhm.
you really have to be on that vibrational frequency because here is somebody who cannot do things that we take for granted, you know? Right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a very different population, right? Like, um, I still do it. I still treat that population, and it's a population that I'm very passionate about. Right?
Mm,
Since I've been young, I've always worked with, individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. But
mm,
my time working with the state, I got a chance to work with them like real up close and personal. Right? It was my full time job.
mm,
And then even when I left that job, I didn't want to abandon that population entirely, so I stuck with it, and I still work with them on the side. But you see, man, it's very different, right? I've had some patients that are wheelchair bound, and their goal is just to be able to stand up. So
right,
right,
right.
I'm working with them a couple times a week, just getting them comfortable standing, right? Trying to build like their leg strength so that they can hold their own weight up,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've had people that you know are scared to leave their house because they don't feel comfortable walking right on uneven pavement or walking with grass, right? Things
Mm-hmm.
like that we take for granted so often, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to be outside, right? And
Right,
right, we don't necessarily always fear the elements because we're like, oh, we trust our balance, we trust our gait, our ability to walk, right?
right,
And I
right.
think that's I got a chance to see a lot of different functions, a lot of
Mm,
different goals, and sometimes the things that look the easiest, right, are the hardest to gain back.
right, right. That's true. But and then you also told me that you were working with a gentleman there too, right? That he was doing the Arnold Classic or something like that.
Yeah, I had a guy who just competed in the Arnold's at the beginning of the month. Worked with him. We just met online. Started working with him online and helping him get ready after an injury, and
Mm.
he was able to compete, and he did pretty well. So,
Wow, that's
you know,
great.
still
That's
keeping
great.
in touch and getting him ready for the next one.
That's amazing. How about your upbringing? You were born in this country, and your parents, where they came from. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey. My parents were born in Colombia, so I'm of Colombian descent. They came here in the early 90s. And, if you guys ever been to Elizabeth, New Jersey, it's very, very heavy Colombian population, right? So when my parents came here, they were living in an apartment with my dad's brothers and sisters, right? His parents and me. And you know, it was not your classic American dream, right? Everyone comes here thinking that once they get here, things are going to be smooth sailing, and they're going to be able to live the life that they want. And
Hmm.
um, they're luckily for me, my parents were able to kind of achieve that down the road. But I was also able to see kind of where that started, right? I was able to see what it was like when they first got here, and both of them working multiple jobs, both of them working like manual labor, whether it be in factories, right, or just doing different things that don't we don't necessarily think about, but now they've been able to kind of build good careers for themselves and set me and my sister up really well, right? So thankfully, we're very grateful for the life that we have, but I'm also grateful that I got a chance to see kind of where things began, right? To have that perspective, and I think that to me personally taught me a lot about work ethic because I saw how hard both of my parents worked to build their careers up and build a life here for not just themselves but our family.
Yeah, there are so many opportunities here. It's ridiculous. I often tell guys, "What are you doing?" Like, you know, the things I really want to tell them are kind of rough, and I have to try to like lower the volume a little bit because I just want to almost like grab them and be like, "Dude, you're playing 4 hours of video games at home. You're smoking cannabis, and like, come on, there's so many things out there to do." Like, and then they're wondering why things are not working out for them, and they're walking around saying that the economy's not good. And I'm like, man, bro, please, man, come on. There's so many things to do here. But that's great. Your parents were able to come here and to struggle hard, man. And I could see some of those work ethics in you that you picked up also from them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think for me, um, by the time I got older, right, my parents were in a much better position, right? So by the time I was able to start working, I didn't really need to work, right? Like my dad, when he was younger, he had to work to kind of help support his family back in Colombia, right? So it was just different means, right? Different necessities. I at a young age just started working because I think I just saw my parents' work ethic and I saw how hard they hustled, and I wanted to be able to do something similar. So from like a very young age, I was always trying to look for different things to kind of make a quick buck or started working really early on. So yeah, it was something that just resonated with me from a very young age.
Yeah, they say monkey see, monkey do, right? Yeah, it's like the kid that grows up seeing his father abusing mom, and then they're like, "I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna be like that," and then they end up being like that because
Yeah.
it's like almost subconscious. That's why I think it's important to do your best to try to keep the family structure together.
Hmm.
Some of those things that we take for granted, right? Because like for me, my dad left when I was 9, and it was just a crucial time.
Hmm.
I was coming to be a teenager, you see, and
Yeah.
then mom was a single parent, and it was just hard. The streets were just waiting for me there. They're like, "Come on, we'll be your family," and like, it's terrible. But I got to learn more things later on because my father's such a go-getter and stuff like that, and we picked these things up from our parents. And I had the opportunity to meet your mom, and yeah, she's a rock, man. She's a go getter for real too.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think that's a big thing. We like, right. It's like the masculine image of like guys got to go out there and grind and work hard, right? And especially coming into this country, but my mom did it too, right? As much as my dad did it, my mom did it just as much. And you know,
That's
and
nice.
raising me and my sister, right? Thankfully, my parents were together, and they both kind of supported themselves throughout their journey. But right, she was able to come here. She went to college and got a degree, and then was able to build herself her career, right? And that definitely wasn't easy considering where they started from. But I think that it was a work ethic at the end of the day, right? They both knew what they wanted. They both knew that they wanted to set themselves up for something special,
Right.
and they both put their mind to it and did it.
Yep, that's great. Because in this country, like you could lean back too. You can get public assistance. You can get all kind of grants and things to help you out, and then you even you can get affordable housing and stuff like that. And then the generations go on from there. But on the flip side of that too is like in this country, oh man, you could be anything, bro. You could own a chain of bodegas if you wanted to, or whatever you wanted. You just have to focus on that thing, and the opportunities are there, man. They're just like countless, really. And I'm grateful that I'm even able to do some of the things that we do here at the Omziel. We help to push people, like to try to wake them up. you know and in fact, that's how I met you, right?
Yeah.
We met you through another mutual friend, an affiliate, where I linked up with John, right? PT Ethos out in Hackensack.
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Puzio was a good friend of mine I met through college.
John Puzio, right?
Yeah.
PT Ethos.
Yeah. So shout out to him. Really great friend, someone I've kept in contact with, and especially as we both pursued careers in physical therapy, right? We, had that in common, and he's someone I like to talk to a lot. But yeah, he had just opened his clinic, and I just wanted to go out and show love and support him. And then that's you were doing your ice plunge there. That was one of his first events that he had hosted. So yeah, we got in touch through that. That was my first time ever doing an ice plunge. Um,
Yeah, because I
so
know you do some wrestling, right? Some MMA. Is that correct?
no, no.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I thought you were physically active in that area, like doing those things.
No, I mean I do lift a decent amount. Like I make sure I go to the gym anywhere from 4 to 6
Mm,
times a week, but I'm not
okay, okay.
not
Yeah,
not the
because
wrestler.
I had the impression that oh yeah, this guy does some ice something, but that was your first time, huh?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that was my first time. It was an experience for sure.
yeah. Tell us about it.
So yeah, I mean you did a great job of kind of coaching us through it, but right, it's like you say, it's always that those first 30 seconds are brutal. I think the breath work beforehand definitely helps, right? To kind of get you in tune with how you're breathing and being mindful of, how you're breathing. Because then once you're in the ice, your mind starts to kind of spaz out on you, and your mind is trying to freak you out and tell you to just get up and get out. And
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
the thing is, you got to stay with your breath. And I think that experience to me was very meditative because I was able to kind of ignore the thoughts in my mind that were telling me to freak out and just get out of the water, right? So it allowed me to kind of go deep and still observe those thoughts, but not give into it, right? And because of that, even though it's only 2 minutes, right, those first 30 seconds are rough. And once you kind of get through that and you're able to kind of learn to calm your mind down, it's something that becomes super meditative and something that you can start to kind of translate into your day to day, because
mm-hmm,
our
mm-hmm,
mind's always going to play tricks on us, right? Our mind's always going to tell us that now we don't want to do this or we can't do that. But once you get
mm-hmm,
comfortable kind of tuning those thoughts out and just
mm-hmm,
observing them, right? Just understanding that they're just thoughts, right? And, you know, those thoughts don't define you. You decide what you kind of do with it after. So that's something that I've been very grateful that I was able to learn through that ice plunge, and I've started to
mm-hmm.
incorporate throughout my day to day.
Right. And then we also spoke on some books too, right? Because at the time when I first met you, you just seemed so hungry about knowledge. And then we just started opening up to one another. And I started sharing different books that I've read. And then I shared some books with you also. And one of them that we often mention is The Untethered Soul, where you get to be the observer of your experience in life because we're too close to the action. So, yeah, I know you've read this book, you've taken it in. Tell me
Yeah,
more about that.
yeah. So that was the first book you had recommended to me, and it was something that quickly resonated with me. Like you said, right, learning to be in that seat of the observer, understanding that, right, we are not our thoughts, right, we're the person listening to those thoughts, right. So that became something that was very important to me and allowed me to get deeper into my meditation so that I was able to understand more of my thoughts, right? Get more comfortable observing my thoughts. And it allowed me to see that a lot of the anxieties that, lie within, a lot of like those negative thoughts that come from within, right, don't define me, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just my mind playing tricks on me. And if I'm able to observe it and not necessarily cave into it right away, right, then I can decide how I move, right? I can move how I want to move and push myself to the things that I want to accomplish. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
we talk ourselves out of everything. You know,
yeah,
it's that little voice the book talks about, the roommate inside of your head. It's just constantly talking. And we quiet that mind through the breath work, right? It slows down the frontal lobe of your brain right there. That's the one that helps us to navigate in this world. But we have to quiet it. And that's when you're taking in all of that, the oxygen, where you're oxygenizing the cells in your body, it quiets that mind a little bit. It lowers the volume a little bit, and then you tap into deeper parts of your brain, like the reptilian brain. So whoever made us made some of the basic functions first, like eat, have sex, drink something, like that. Those are the basic ones. And then later on came the other parts where we're now rationalizing this life and we're judging everything. Should I go there? Is that dangerous? Will that benefit me? But then sometimes it's like it's on overdrive and then it doesn't shut up. Like now
Yeah.
it's like, like, hey, I want to go do that thing. Nah, don't do it. Why are you going to do it for? Nah, don't do it. Don't do it. Nah, they're not going to like you. They're not going to, what if you say something stupid? What if you, so we have to quiet that voice and let them know that I'm the one in charge, you know. And then the ice, plunge helps a lot too, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
No.
for sure. I mean, right, that was, I think we've been probably like a year and change ago. And
Mhm.
right, I think that was when I met you. I was trying to get more like comfortable with my thoughts. I was working on meditation. I was trying to kind of follow down that path. And when you started to recommend certain books to me, I think it just kind of helped facilitate that process for me. So doing stuff like the ice punches. I mean, I've been a couple times, right? I've brought my mom, I brought my fiance with me now,
Yeah, yeah.
and they've both had really good experiences with it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Even and both of them, they do not like the cold. They
Right.
both, neither of them like the cold, and
Right.
they both had really positive experiences with it, right? They found it very rewarding, um, and and I
Mhm.
think, right, we talk a lot about the physical benefits of the ice, but I think one of the bigger, most important ones is what it does for us mentally, and
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
learning to being able to quiet that mind a little bit more and just be more present. And I think
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing, right? It just puts you right there. Like it makes you present, whether you want to be or not.
Right. Yeah, the ice. I tell people that it pushes you into the present moment. Like when you're in that ice, you can't think of nothing.
Hmm.
Like, did you turn off the stove before you left the house? Like none of this is coming to your mind. Like you're just staying with your breath and the present moment. That's the beauty of it. And then it pushes into other parts of your life too, where your mind just starts to stay like in the present moment and you get
Yeah.
more things accomplished. But I know you will also had the opportunity to come with us on the men's retreat. So if we could talk a little bit about that, man. We went, I think, in January. We went to a men's retreat. Tell me about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So we got a chance to go to the Poconos,
Mhm.
and we stayed in the house, which was beautiful, a nice geometric dome, right? So the acoustics were super interesting, right? You're having people talk downstairs while you're upstairs, and they sound like they're right behind you, right? You have people right next to you, and it sounds like they're outside, like so. And the guy who owns it is an artist, so the artwork throughout the house was just absolutely beautiful. Um, and I think one of the biggest takeaways was just being removed from the world, right? We unplug. We don't have our phones on us. We're just with the people that we're with. We're surrounded by nature, right? We went hiking and got a chance to just observe nature, right? Me and you went into the river, even though it
Yep.
was freezing.
It was freezing. There was ice and snow
Yeah,
all over. Wow, it was
yeah,
it was intense. I've never been that cold in my life. But I just want to say quickly that out of all the men that were there, you were the only one that got into the river with me. Thank you, brother.
yeah. Of course, of course. No, it was. I mean, it was definitely. Again, it was one of those things, right? Our minds trying to talk us out of it, and
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
just wanted to do it to prove that I could overcome that, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and it was definitely cold. And I think one of the harder parts was coming out, and then you're just standing on snow again, so your feet aren't even warming up, and your hands are numb. So trying to put socks back on is
Yeah.
like impossible.
Yep, it was amazing. It was
Yeah,
beautiful. I loved it. It was tough. It was hard. Like
yeah,
my body went through changes. I even was feeling nauseous. I was like,
yeah,
"Oh man, I'm not doing good." Like nauseous? Like what was that about? But it was just the body telling me
yeah,
like, "Hey, you're putting your body through extreme here. Let's pay attention." But it made me stronger too.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it does. And the men's retreat, I think that's what it was all about, right? It was starting to kind of get away and be around people that are also out there trying to better themselves, right? Everyone has their own answers they're searching for, right? Their own projects that they're working on. Um, and everyone's coming out there for a different individual purpose, right? But for the overall goal of growth and development. And I think being able to, do the meditation that we did, right? Doing the ice plunges, right? Doing yoga, journaling, just getting comfortable being with our thoughts and sitting with our thoughts, I thought was something that was super helpful. And when you don't have distractions of the outside world, whether it be work or your phone or whatever stresses you have outside of there, being able to just be alone with that, I think is was super helpful. And
Yeah, it was great. And then the food was amazing too. Let's hear about that, brother.
yeah, so we ate mainly plant based for the whole weekend, which is something that I wasn't used to, but still was a really good experience, right? Again, I think the more stuff you do that's outside your comfort zone, the better it helps you grow, right? So doing something like eating plant based for a whole weekend was really good, and I've even taken some of that stuff and tried to incorporate a little bit more into my day to day, right? Like more quinoa, right? I eat dates pretty consistently, so just different stuff like that. But it was again, it was something new for me, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it because I definitely don't eat plant based on my day to day. But it
Right.
was definitely the food was good, and yeah,
Sometimes people come to me and they go, "Man, how could you eat like that?" And I tell them, "I didn't just wake up eating like this, bro. Like
yeah,
it took time for me to let go of things and to embrace other things. Like you can't say that you don't like Chinese food if you only ate Chinese food once or twice.
yeah,
There's all kinds of Chinese food. Like there's northern, southern, Szechuan. Like so plant based is all the same too.
hmm,
You just have to keep trying things, and you see that you just don't miss the meat as much like you did before, and you look forward to some hummus and some quinoa is different from
yeah,
the rice. So it was great. The food was great, and we got to experience some cacao too.
yeah,
That was beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, the cacao is just a pure chocolate, and one of the brothers that came, AC.
Hmm.
He was looking for some cacao and some of the other product that we sell too, which is the firecracker.
Okay.
So I just shipped them a nice box with some inside with some sage, and all that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so happy, yeah, bro. But that was another product that we offer too is the firecracker, which is fresh squeezed ginger, turmeric, apple cider vinegar, lemon, honey, and cayenne pepper.
Hmm.
Yeah, that one, that's the winner right there. As soon as you come out of the ice plunge and you take a shot of that, how's that, brother? Huh?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has a kick to it because of the cayenne pepper, but it helps you warm back up pretty quickly.
Yep, yep. I love it. I just absolutely love it. So we are having another men's retreat coming up now in April, and there'll be other ones during the year. And we also have the Rising here at the Omziel Healing Sanctuary in North Bergen, New Jersey. And you were able to come to one. You bring your mom and you did the ice plunge in early in the day, and then there was live music and open mic. And how was that?
It was good, man. Again, I think what you guys do very well is just creating a comfortable environment for everyone, right? And you have people that are of similar mindsets, right? They're looking for ways to better themselves and looking for ways to just kind of continue to develop and grow. So I think when you guys do like your activities like the ice plunge, right? And for the rising, it was an all day thing, right? We were there, we did the ice plunge first thing in the morning.
Hmm.
Right, so that kind of set the tone, right? You're starting with the breath work, right? You're going into the ice, so you're already feeling very, very grounded to start. And then
Yeah.
you're having people come play live music, and you did open mics, which was beautiful, right? And
Hmm.
some of the
Hmm.
people there shared some stuff that were very personal, right?
I
Um,
know. Yep.
so
Yep. There was that woman that she played the guitar.
mhm,
She right. She said I made this song in recovery, and this
yeah,
is when I had my last drink of alcohol. And she started singing like, "Oh my God, brother!" It was like she almost moved me to tears, man. Like
yeah,
you see how quickly we all, jumped into different circles talking about it. Like, "Oh my God, that was incredible!" Yeah, that was great.
yeah. I mean, that was right. That was beautiful. I think that's something else you guys have curated really well is giving people a platform to kind of put their art out there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that was really nice to see, because a lot of that was just, people that, people that come around to your events, and you just kind of provide them a platform to perform and put some
Mm.
positivity out there, which is really nice.
Appreciate that, brother. We're working on bigger things too, and I also remember that in that last one too, we had Danny and Vanessa come through. They're from Sovereign Love, and he's the gentleman that served the kava.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was nice. It's
Yeah.
different. It's different. It tastes different, and then it made me feel different too. Like I felt like kind of like a buzz, but not drunk. Like
Hmm.
just like shifted. Like it shifted my awareness, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mhm.
felt like it was more of like a grounding sensation, right? It wasn't like,
Mhm.
I know what you mean, like it wasn't like a buzz, like, that you're drunk or you get with
Right.
alcohol. It was
Right.
just more of like, it kind of winded you down,
Mhm. Mhm.
and just allowed you to just kind of be at peace, and be very chill, very mellow. Um,
Mhm. Mhm. Just recently I went to a Russian Turkish bathhouse in Manhattan. I think it was like East 10th Street, and they've been there like more than 100 years. They've been there. I mean, it's the place is older than the Empire State Building, brother. So has a rich history, and lots of famous people go there and all that. And then across the street, when I left, they have a kava bar.
oh.
So I had two kava drinks. I think they were something like $13 each or something. But it looks like a bar and all that, but they didn't serve no alcohol. They just served
Hmm.
kava. Yeah, bro. And you just drank it right away. And I had two of them, and then I was feeling like really, like you said, like grounded and like shifted, but not drunk. Like no, like it's like I could get in the car and drive, like
Yeah.
And then there was no like yearning effect afterwards. Like I didn't be like, man, I gotta go back there. I need two more drinks, bro, before I go. No, it's not like that. Kava is a Polynesian root, and they pulverize it and they needle it in the water, and it's usually consumed over disputes in communities, and it's that ritual, that ceremony aspect of it. So yeah, kava is very interesting. It's not too popular where we're from, but in other parts of the U.S. and stuff
Hmm.
like that, yeah, it's quite popular. But anyway, yeah, thanks for coming through. Thanks for sharing with us. Why don't you tell people where they can find you?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram at L.I.G_PT. If you guys are looking for physical therapy in the area, right, or just have any questions at all about the field or anything in particular that I can help you guys out with, feel free to reach out. And if there, for some reason you may be too far and I'm not able to connect with you directly, I can try and put you in contact with people that can. But again, I'm just looking forward to helping you guys and trying to do some good out there. So if you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you and your time and your family. It's just beautiful, man. I'm looking forward to being with you very soon, bro.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you having me on.
Okay, brother. Peace and love.
Likewise, brother.
All right, guys. There you have it, man. Powerful brother. Just dropping gems right there, seeing how people can come from, tough times, and parents that don't even come from this family, and they can rise too. So he's on an incredible path, and he's going into business for himself. So it just shows you, man, that you could just do anything that you put your mind to it. And the breath work and the ice plunge helps, among other things too. It's just another tool in the arsenal that you should look into. So thank you so much. I also want to let you know that in the next ice plunge, we should be having it very soon. But no matter what it is, and if you've listened to this audio or visuals at any given time, if you just let us know that you've listened to the Art of Rising and we spoke about the ice plunge, man, we would definitely give you a discount. We'll knock off something really nice for you. We just want you to come through and just experience it. So we'll leave it at that. And any of the men's retreat as well. There is an exchange where all your lodging is taken care of, the food and all of the activities and things. But I just want to offer that if you're listening to this podcast, man, just let us know and we'll take good care of you. All right? That's my promise to you. Guarantee. Okay, guys, there you have it. Thank you so much. Peace and love.